Hello again, it's Karis, and today I'm going to be talking about a Percy Jackson AU that me and my friend are working on. So we haven't actually started the writing part yet, but we have it basically all outlined. I just have to run a few things past her and then I'll get started on the writing. But basically the basis of this AU actually came from a TikTok that I watched. The TikTok was about height. Like, if Bianca had lived, would she have been a lot taller than Nico? Would she have gotten a lot taller than Nico, like, if she eventually left the Hunters? Or would she stay around the same height as him? And yet that sparked an AU in my mind. It's like, I need an AU where Bianca lives. So, this was created in my mind, and I decided I wanted a co-writer, my friend. So, we currently have a few things. So, number one thing. The first couple of things that I need to talk about in this AU is Bianca decides she wants more time to think about joining the Hunters. So, when they go to Camp Half-Blood, she's thinking about it. She's like, I need to see the camp first, make sure it's okay to leave Nico there. And so she says to Artemis, I'll have a choice when you come back. So she hasn't quite made her choice yet. This is the deciding factor on if she lives or not. She still goes on the quest. Zoe still has her on the quest. But that is the deciding factor for a reason. And that's because how we made Bianca live. She ends up on Ogygia. I don't know the logic behind how people get there. It's magic. So I'm like, Bianca can end up there. It's magic. Yeah. So that's basically how Bianca lives in this AU. Although, she's on Ogygia before Percy. It doesn't overlap, but she goes a bit before Percy comes. She leaves. Yeah. But that was also her gay awakening. Because in this AU, Bianca is a lesbian. Yeah, so Nico does think she's dead for like half a year. Until he tries to summon her ghost. And he can't. Like, even with Percy there in the book. Like, he can't summon her ghost. And I think that there should be this little dream thing that's like, it connects the two of them, and she's like, no, I'm alive. And then, yeah. But another thing that we have in this is Bianca, even after, she doesn't end up straight at Camp Half-Blood. She actually gets found by this older demigod, who is like an adult, and we're also pretty sure that this adult demigod should be a therapist, because reasons. Yeah, so Bianca ends up staying with this adult demigod, and this adult demigod is training her so she can make her way to Camp Half-Blood safely. And along with that, since Bianca is having flashbacks and stuff from almost dying by getting crushed by Talos, especially because according to like everything I read, Bianca's greatest fear is dying. She would definitely be having flashbacks about that because that would be a traumatic experience. So, of course, like, getting therapy about that is something. And then, after about a year-ish, having been around this adult demigod, she makes her way to Camp Half-Blood. We have the timing so that she ends up at Camp Half-Blood after Percy and Nico go down to the underworld. So they're in the underworld when she arrives there. And then Chiron Iris messages Percy and Nico. It's like, okay, we want Nico up here for at least a few minutes. So, and then we have Nico and Bianca reunion at the Empire State Building. Yeah, and this was my friend's idea, but she had the idea that Bianca goes with Nico to convince their dad, because we all know that Hades had some favoritism towards Bianca, even in the books. There was the line that's like, I wish you had died instead of Bianca or whatever. So, we're going to address that. Yeah. But we also changed the prophecy of the 7 to be the prophecy of the 8. Because why not? Yeah. But then we have Bianca as a character. So we actually have her personality. She was born, since we don't actually know her birthday, we say she was born May 14th, 1930. I did 1930 by math because of Nico and a couple dates he mentioned in specifically House of Hades. I did some math on those dates. He would have been born in 1932. She's 2 years older than him, 1930. So we decided that her favorite colors are green and purple. Green because of the hat, purple just because purple. It's a headcanon. Things that Bianca likes: reading, photography, Avatar: The Last Airbender, Full House, Harry Potter, Anne of Green Gables, baking, and cooking. Things that Bianca dislikes: sour candies, liars/manipulators, stereotypes, people that see themselves as above others. So she also dislikes the Catholic Church that she grew up with, because they were not open to gays. And we all know that Nico had internalized homophobia, so Bianca would have it too if she was like a lesbian, like she is in this. The internalized homophobia that she does have to go through in this fan. Like, she has to work through it in the fanfiction. Yeah. And she also dislikes people with bad manners. And spiders and flies. Yeah, so back to the, Catholic Church that she grew up with thing. It is canon that they went to Catholic Church in the 1940s and 30s. And the Catholic Church back then definitely wasn't open to gays and lesbians. They were not. It was, we all know that it wasn't widely accepted back then. If hardly ever. Especially in Catholic Church. Which would result in, Nico's internalized homophobia that was seen in the books. And in this case also Bianca's. That's why she dislikes it. We don't think that she would continue going to Catholic, find a church to keep going to and stuff in the fanfic because of her bad experiences, but she might realize that the church has also changed. Yeah. So, some other things we also have is that she had to be serious for Nico when she was younger. Obviously, she was parenting him in canon. Yeah. Then, other things we have. So, I remember asking my friend the most stupid question because I had forgotten that much, apparently. I decided to ask the question, do you think Bianca would be neurodivergent? And it was immediately like, wait, why did I ask that? Of course she is. She has ADHD and dyslexia. Just like every demigod. Which I had somehow forgotten. Yeah, so, based on that, we decided that she has a hyperfixation on modern technology. and at least the modern technology that she can be exposed to, such as the computer at Camp Half-Blood, or possibly when she's living with the older demigod, she's exposed to more modern technology. Yeah, and then other things that we have is her weapon of choice is still a bow and arrow. Because, like, you don't have to have Apollo as a parent to be good at a bow and arrow. Frank has showed us that much. Like, we decided that that's still her weapon of choice because it's cool. Yeah. We decided she is also good at dancing. It's a random headcanon I found on Tumblr and I liked it. That, like, each of the children of Pluto or Hades is good at one type of the arts. Hazel was, like, drawing, painting. Nico was singing. And Bianca was dancing. I specifically imagined her tap dancing. Because tap dancing was around in the 40s. So, yeah. And we also say that she likes flowy tops, such as, like, blouses or, like, the sleeves that kind of puff and they go down all the way to, like, your wrists. Yeah, those kind of tops. They're pretty. And, oh, we also gave Bianca a middle name. So her full name is now Bianca Eloisa D'Angelo for us. Yeah. And her fatal flaw is holding grudges, and she blames herself for things that weren't her fault, that she had no control over, like leaving Nico, or other things too. She blames herself for stuff that she shouldn't be blaming herself for. Yeah. My friend decided to just put a play on the, you know, like how Bianca had said in the Battle of Labyrinth. She actually said, holding grudges is our fatal flaw. So we decided to take a play on that and just use it in a different way. Like, Nico holds grudges on other people, she holds grudges on herself. Other things that we have are her relationship with other characters. So, her relationship with Nico, these will be in like 1 or 2 sentences. It's like, she's overprotective at first still. And then they have to kind of get to know each other again because of all that time apart. Also, I can just picture her being like, Nico, why are you so pale? You haven't been getting enough sun, have you? You've been he's been spending too much time in the other world. Because I remember when his appearance, like, when Rick changed how he described it, I always thought that it was just natural progression of him, like, either not being outside during the day and just, like, staying inside with the curtains closed, and him just being in the underworld way too much, so he wasn't getting enough sunlight and just naturally got really pale. Yeah. And then her relationship with Will is, like, a teasing relationship, and they tease Nico together sometimes. Like, just fun little teasing, not like full-on being mean or anything. Like, playful teasing. And then her relationship with Hazel is like, it's a sister relationship. Like, they argue sometimes, but they have fun together, and they love each other too. Her relationship with Calypso, it's like, they can just be more open and real with each other. They don't put on fake personas. I don't know why we'd have them putting on fake personas around other people, but just like being more open, not putting up walls kind of thing. And then her relationship with Percy, my friend came up with this, is just like, sometimes they do crazy things together. What those crazy things are, we're not sure yet. Maybe pulling pranks. Her relationship with Annabeth is, they don't like each other at first, but they bond over common interests, such as, like, technology, etc., that kind of thing. Her relationship with Rinna is, like, they read and have quiet time together. Yeah. her relationship with Frank is they bond over their love of archery. Yeah, some of these are really short because they're not that well developed in our heads yet. And then her relationship with Piper, her relationship with Jason is like, it starts off tense, but it gets better, especially after he starts to trust Nico more and stuff in House of Hades after the Cupid scene. Even, especially because in this AU, Bianca was there. I have this picture in my head that's just like, Bianca wants to go all rage on Cupid, and Jason's just like, no, and probably having to hold her back from doing that. Because obviously Cupid wouldn't like that. Yeah. And then her relationship with Piper is... So, we had some ideas that we were gonna play around with, maybe. Like, in the brainstorming process, one of the suggestions I had is just like, oh, maybe her and Piper could be an item. But we didn't end up going with that. So, we just said that they do music stuff together. Yeah. And then her relationship with Leo. They don't get along very well. Leo is a bit much for Bianca. That's what it says on the page. I'm reading out of a notebook where I have all this written down. And then we have 3 more. Her relationship with Chiron is like a mentor-mentee relationship. Like a lot of the other characters. And then Hades. We had to make sure we did Hades on here. And Hades favors Bianca a bit more than Nico, but she's gonna make sure it gets equal. She's going to be talking to her dad about that and be like, no. And then, okay, we have Persephone on here too. So in this AU, Persephone, like, I found a headcanon that Persephone likes her stepkids, and I'm like, yes, I'm taking that headcanon and putting it in this. So in this, like, Persephone loves her stepchildren, and maybe and my friend suggested that maybe Persephone is someone Bianca admires or looks up to. And also in this AU, we have, as one of Bianca's powers, so Bianca's powers are somewhere in here. Her powers here. So she got blessed by Persephone, we say. So she has a little bit of flower powers sometimes. Like, more just like flowers sprout up when she's nervous and stuff. Like, different flowers, different emotions. Yeah. Bianca's other powers include shadow travel, can see and feel people's souls, reanimation of, like, skeletons, some forms of necromancy. I put it down as an umbrella term. And darkness manipulation and limited geokinesis, aka earth manipulation, because it was seen that Nico could do a little bit of that, such as like opening up the ground or shooting up a giant wall of stone. That hasn't been showcased very much, but he can do it. And then she can get overwhelmed by the ringing in her ears that is caused by people dying around her. So we know that canonically Nico can feel when people die, and it's a ringing in his ears. I felt like Bianca would have the same thing, but I'm like, if it's in the middle of a battle and a lot of people around you are dying, I feel like that sound would just get amplified so much and could overwhelm someone, as someone who has noise sensory issues where loud noises do overwhelm me. Yes, I am ADHD and autistic. A little bit of autistic, a lot of ADHD. Percy Jackson is my current hyperfixation because of this AU. But, yeah. We also created a character for this AU. A daughter of Hecate named Luciana, or for short, Lucia Martinez. She is some form of Hispanic. We're not quite sure yet. We need to figure that out. but she's some form of Hispanic, Latina, and she is going to be Bianca's girlfriend because I thought it was adorable. And I thought that, like, Bianca being with the daughter of Hecate would be kind of cute. Yeah. And then, so I have like an entire outline. Yeah. We also brainstormed names that Mr. D calls them because Mr. D messes up people's names. Pretty sure on purpose. Yeah, so I have an entire outline of the plot and stuff. I technically have two outlines of it. I have the base outline, and then I have the more in-depth outline that isn't finished yet. The more in-depth outline is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's going to be like 7 pages at least. And there's part of it that I can't quite map out yet either. Like, in the base outline, I just have Bianca worrying about Nico and Will. Because, spoilers for Tower of Nero, if you haven't read it. Spoilers for that. But, we know that the Solangelo book, Nico and Will are going to Tartarus. But I didn't want Bianca to intrude on the Solangelo book, so she's just gonna stay at camp with her girlfriend and stuff. But she's just gonna be worried about Nico and Will during that. I can't really map out much more about that, or like how she reacts when they're coming back, because that book isn't even out yet. But anyway, that's pretty much it for this AU right now. And yeah, I'll see you in my next video. Bye!